Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Tommy2118 with VetMG Media. I was doing a little live stream of some Elder Scrolls Online earlier, and I put together this video of some of the highlights of the commentary. Hope you all enjoy. Okay, well, I made it to VR content, and it pretty much puts you back in a situation where you're going to do a lot of questing. So that's what I'm doing here. Just kind of made it through the first couple levels, or the first couple quests, have you already dealt with. Now it was very interesting because when I first started playing, I was really digging the quest line, and I'm not much of a grinder per se. I don't like killing the same kind of mobs over and over and over again. It gets a little repetitive for me, and just not something I really like doing. It takes me back to Dragon Warrior, back on the Nintendo, and having to kill the same characters over again just to level up as you went through the game. Some people love it. That's what they want to do. They want to get their character as strong as possible. For me, it wasn't really what I like to do. Now, with that being said, I did do some grinding towards the end there. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with this VR content that's coming out, the Craglorn, and I didn't want to be left behind. So it was a race for me to get to VR status. And I'll be honest with you, it really wasn't as bad as I thought. There was a couple areas that I found, thanks to some of the guild members out there that put some information out there, that it really happened pretty quick. I think that if anything hurt me more was I downloaded actually purchased a guide to help get through the quests, and honestly it was robot mode. You stopped reading and you pretty much read what the guide was telling you to do. Lost a lot of the story there, but it made for very quick questing. So a couple of things out there if you want to get the VR content quickly. There is a guide out there. I'll kind of click it here to kind of show you. It was a Zygor guides. I think they're pretty famous when it comes to like World of Warcraft. But essentially, if you were going through, you tell it the area that you're in, which I've kind of done all those areas, and it'll pretty much pop up and give you the walkthrough piece there, tell you who to talk to, and what missions to accept, and even a little compass dial there tells you exactly where to go. It's a little bit more detailed than that, even, but probably going to just stick to questing, because one of the things that I found is as I came into this new area, at first I was a little disenfranchised, like, man, it's almost like starting over. But it is, but your character keeps all his stuff and you're a lot higher level, and everything else is leveled up as well. Really what it boils down to is now while I'm waiting for the higher level content to come, which shouldn't be too far off, I'm really getting an opportunity to kind of go back and enjoy some of the questing in the game. Puts me back into where I almost feel lost and trying to find some stuff there, which is honestly how I like to be. Constantly searching around, discovering new things. And one of the other drawbacks is when I was actually, when I'd actually leveled my character up, I was pretty overpowered for a lot of the levels I was playing, and it wasn't necessarily one-hitting all the enemies, but there was very rarely someone that I'd come across and was concerned that I wasn't gonna make it through that battle in one shot. So now, as I'm back in this VR content, everything's a whole lot stronger. I'm at the right level for where I'm supposed to be at, and definitely have to be careful and kind of watch my play style. Now, one thing that I'll caution you guys too as you're going through and playing this, you definitely have to make sure that you are leveling up multiple kinds of weapons and skills in this game. And I think that this is kind of overlooked, and we're going to find this more as we get into the VR level content. If you chose a sword and shield, or otherwise known as a sword and board, early on, and that's pretty much the only weapon class that you've got going in there, I think that later on, maybe your sword and boar and a bow you are going to find yourself in a bad situation, because I think they're specifically going to make this in-game content to where you are very diverse, and you can switch to a new setup based on the need. Nothing. I've got no facts to back that up other than just reading some of the articles. Just my opinion there, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was how it was going to play out. So you might want to take an opportunity there to throw something on, throw something different. Maybe you were wanting to see what a destruction staff would do, or I think everybody would benefit from having some heals, and everybody can get their hands on a healing staff. So for whatever that's worth. Oh. Get myself healed back up there. I don't know why for a second there I thought that that was an ally helping me out with the fight, and I wasn't really paying attention there to it. But you can see this. I mean, I'm technically in the early levels of this new area, and I'm actually at VR2 right now. But this Covenant Guardian is definitely giving me a hard time. Now, part of it too is that I'm definitely I'm a mediocre player at best. I mean, I hope you guys aren't watching me for my awesome skill sets here, because I'm definitely not going to be your source for that. I hope that I'm going to give you some interesting perspective and some good conversation along the way. Honestly, I was playing as a vampire for a majority of my leveling, and it just it got to, once they went ahead and tweaked it, it was I put it, let me start with this. I really wasn't playing it the way some of the other individuals were, where they were saying it was overpowered. From my understanding, you could actually drop your ultimate, and if you had enough of a mob around you, before that ultimate was even finished, you had enough ultimate again to drop it again. A lot of times in player versus player, it was definitely an unfair advantage, and it definitely needed to be nerfed. So no arguments for me there. Unfortunately, one of the bugs with it is you had this supernatural recovery, which allowed your mana pool to replenish, and I believe your stamina. Well, and you take some major debuffs to your health recovery, which I was used to that. But I was really playing him for the benefit of the mana recovery. Well, the glitch was that when you died, you lost that supernatural recovery, and you actually had to relog in order to get it to come back. Well, that's not a big deal when you're just kind of walking around questing, but when you're a part of a dungeon team and you're their main healer, and it's like, hey, sorry guys, I got to actually relog here in this boss fight, otherwise I won't be able to sufficiently heal you guys. It started to become more than just a nuisance. So I went ahead and healed my vampirism, and I think if I get it back, it will definitely be after they get that repaired. That was just too much. Throw on top of that severe vulnerability to fire. And maybe there's somebody out there who's playing it right now, and they don't die as often as I do, and by all means, more power to you. But I am unfortunately, like I said, the mediocre player, die quite often, and that was too much for me. You know, there was talk about some repetitiveness in the dungeons, and I guess, you know, the guys that are saying that are just way more astute than I am, because I mean, I've definitely, I guess, recognized some patterns or whatever else, and if you're definitely going through zone or dungeons in the same zone, but honestly, I don't get a feel. I feel like every time I go somewhere, it feels pretty new. Got a little bump there to my sword and board. Another 5 levels there. I don't think I'll get that completed out. So as I was talking about having multiple levels there, you'll find out that I'm actually on my 3rd different primary weapon here. When I first started playing, I was using a heavy a 2-handed sword, and it just really wasn't suited to how I was playing. So I ended up switching it to a destruction staff, and honestly, I was doing pretty well with that. And then once again, as I started getting higher level, I don't know if it was necessarily that it wasn't working as well. I was just actually wanted to try something new, and I switched to the actual sword and board, one-handed sword and shield, which I'm really happy with right now. But I've learned quite a bit about how I was playing, and honestly, I bet you if I went back into either one of those, I'd be equally as happy. You know, that was definitely an interesting concept here, with grouping and doing missions together and whatever else. You don't have to, but sometimes when something's a little bit tough, you definitely can, and having an ally there really helps. Playing with friends is definitely awesome. You know, you get yourself on a Mumble server or a TeamSpeak, get an opportunity to kind of chat. Definitely makes it go a little better.
Thank kind you've returned. Everyone, they're all gone. My family is gone.
Where have they gone?
And they're outnumbered. I fear
Now I'm going to go ahead and quit this quest here, say never mind, because as I was talking about leveling up those other weapons, I like to play the healer, and my healing staff isn't quite where I want it to be. So if I come back in here and talk to her with my healing staff equipped, well, now I get all that credit. That 3,000 experience points and everything will actually be tied to my healing staff. And you guys can't see the chat box down there, and unfortunately, I'm not really trying to hide anything in-game from you, other than people out there doing trollish behavior. It just keeps it all on the level. I can control what I say. I can't control what they type or what you guys see there. And so, for whatever that's worth, pretty common practice there.